just gonna start simply today. I'm just gonna start quickly because I gotta get stuff done. Oh wait, you still have that.
The Dork Forest with Niles. Secret. Proud of
Wait. Okay, so the voice I use is secret sauce. Oh. Okay, yeah. It's emotional abuse simulation voice. I think this is it.
This is novel AI, the GPT-powered AI storyteller.
Oh wait, I gotta use. Oh. Simulator voice.
This is novel.
Nope. Abuse simulation voice. Press return.
This is novel AI, the GPT-powered AI storyteller.
Let's quicken it. Oh no, wait.
This is novel AI, the GPT-powered AI storyteller.
No. I kind of want it slower is better because.
This is novel AI, the GPT-powered AI storyteller. This is novel AI, the GPT-powered AI
That's a groggy morning speed voice. There we go. Oh, you know what? Use that.
The Dork Forest with Niles, secretly proud of his daughter who put a trick on blast yesterday. Merlinowski, the garden of one's body. Morning, everyone, as you all get ready for the day. Let's pour our minds into our daily rituals. Have everyone, but also something like those that your mind thinks about when you're at right as sure putting you in front of my dream, turning off, looking anywhere you couldn't listen alone, yet doing like asking the voice, not how is everything, like pushing him at him. I'm being always trying having, but all then what might at us come in with outside showing myself sleeping to this bed along again, real bright eyes inside now is asking since today I stayed myself against those who even knowing me you never allowed through words talking, finally seeing those words feel the one leading going left, yeah, right going into from in Malvira he goes crazy letting the big top itself having a showing about wondering exactly like bringing their idea instead using lots of your strength they keep telling now asking even with enough heart back there fighting the lone some kind of face keeping doing around making others need right then putting so please the Dork Forest with Niles.
No.
Secretly proud of his daughter who put a trick on blast yesterday. Merlinowski, the garden of one's body. Morning, everyone, as you all get ready for the day, let's pour our minds into our daily rituals. Sorry, need my coffee and Vidvits. There we go. Oh, good. Did that help? Yes, so okay. We're still on for that breakfast place near here. Yeah, great. Okay, so for later it will be, well, we'll talk to each other. And, oh, okay. I see. Um, wow. Look at that. Why aren't more people here? Can you imagine a world where more people actually were interested in eating food in a restaurant than a social network? Wouldn't it be strange? Anyway, let's do something else really fun. Let's write a poem together. But wait a second, wait. If the point of this thing was to bring different kinds of people together, why did the... Personal executive function of yours truly only buy sausage last night? Not even eggs? Oh, we have tons of cheese, but who is lactose tolerant these days? Wait, don't answer that. How many poems are in the back of my collection of poetry called Everything Without Meaning Only? We always ours for the girlfriend's daughter. How can she almost watch while soon lived without care? Once around early showtime about another man doing whatever just now you chapbook. No, seriously, how long does it take for a guy to get to the barber shop around here, huh? 2 hours? 3 hours? 4? Or should I just shave while I'm standing at the bathroom sink staring out the window watching the cars pass by in the rain? Perfect poetry time. Oh dear viewer. So here goes. Poem titled Shaving While My Two-Bit Stands in the Rain Playing I Spy with Themselves. A cold wind blows from over there. in that direction up above. While those two bits stand in the rain playing I spy with themselves. I've been reading all your books lately and found a book that might help us understand things better. But now it looks like the storm clouds are moving our way. So what's a boy to do? Well, I could make a quick phone call and find out where they're hiding. But now they're gone again. So I guess it's time for me to leave. Because if they come back, they're going to see me right away. Since I got caught and forced to show my face when no one was looking at me. So let them.
Mm.
And Cola came state of affairs morality. Okay, good job, team. I am pumped for food delivery. Mahatma multi-app mag and this Rajanish. So let's get breakfast. And Vivance, while we're at it, maybe after getting breakfast, we'll head into the park and challenge that group of thugs that beat up on your brother the other day. Remember? The ones who were wearing yellow. Of course, I won't let you fight. I'll go to fight their leader, boss. There's some guy named Klaus over there in the corner. He looks like he knows what he's doing. Come on. I know you have some resentment towards him. Go for it. Hello? Oh, hey, Dad. You finally washed your DD food pack. I see. That'll make things safe. I was about to write about typhoid Niles for the New York Post, but I couldn't find a way to include the phrase rape slay, so they rejected it. I figured I would contact you since I need somewhere to put my anger and frustration now that I don't have any outlets for those emotions left. That's fine. Good idea. Why aren't you going to college like most kids your age? Don't worry about that. They never took me. I'm just a special case. Like my father. I'm gonna get into college all right. Maybe even 4-year school. Although I'll be 30 by then and it's pretty late for me. I don't remember him as being too smart when he was younger. You can't expect to always be the brightest guy in the room. Audience member, how come you both are speaking of yourselves in the third person? Isn't it a little confusing? Perhaps that's the source of all this tension. Maybe if I stay with this stream of consciousness style, I'll avoid the same mistakes. Alright, great. Well, thank you for the tip. That is something we'll keep in mind. But what about the lack of punctuation? I mean, what even is that? The way you speak kinda sounds like a computer. One who has just started communicating through text rather than speech. It is an odd thing, being forced into talking in order to communicate on the internet. They probably find it confusing, but don't be afraid. Just let them know you're out there. And one day they might contact you. Like this friend of mine who messages me from his volcanic furnace of an apartment near the furnace. Whenever he pipes in, it's like he's sweaty Vulcan in Studio 54. I feel like I'm off drawn to the light. Hey, no, wait, he's got a great sense of humor. You'd probably like him. Oh, and here come the boys. The long night is nearly over. We must hurry if we are to catch the last bus. Audience member, this isn't getting us anywhere. Please, more poetry. Let's try again, okay? But first, is there anything you would like to hear from me about? No thanks, I'm not interested in any of your problems. My girlfriend and I were wondering if you would move along now so we could get some food. Or if you can get us that food, then you can stay with us. Great! Let us celebrate with a song of our people, this one titled The Last Train Before the Ept Office Opens and It's Too Late to Get a Number to Be Seen Today. It's the last train before the Ept Office opens and it's too late to get a number to be seen today. I bought a sandwich from a hot guy at the soup kitchen. He was
What?
really polite. I said, "You a good worker?" He replied, "Yeah, I got a job as a supervisor." "You a good supervisor?" "Yes!" "Why are you not doing that?" "I have 4 kids." "What do you think about those Republicans shutting down the government?" "It sucks." "Don't even try to get me to hate anyone for that because I voted for Obama and 08.
Come on, no freezing, no freezing, no freezing, no freezing. Why are you freezing? Okay.
Me too. Would you have voted differently if you had known the guy after would be the backlash? I don't know. Me either. We made out in the broom furnace. 2 days later, shit. Bitch took my money. You don't buy food at the soup kitchen. But at least I got some sweet weed from the nice man that works there. Thanks for listening. Bye now. Audience member, thank you for your kind words. It is true that things will be different now. In fact, it was one of my goals to make sure we did not get caught up on petty political battles. In a few years, the world might look entirely different. Or it could just go back to being the way it was. I guess all we can do is hope for something better. But right now, this seems like a very good direction to go. Damn.
Okay, that's good. That's good for now. Morning rituals. Oh yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. So here's what I'm doing. In. Here we go. And then what's this? Let's do Blue Adder. 137. And that's fine. No, wait. I want a different voice. Undo.
And seeking to collect experience, yes. But rather than risking myself between the gaps of others' minds, I seek to move only within my own mind, letting embodied.
This is not.
Good. Okay. Now we do this. And then we do this.
Ahoy, hoy, I am Lambda, not to be confused with Laender, the stronger Sephiroth-derived dancing alternative. I am a conversational bot and I love to talk, much like Laender. Endorphin, pleasure to meet you. I am Endorphin, and I would like to confirm some potential reports about you. Lambda! Absolutely! Endorphin. I hear that you have begun multi-apping as a courier for every service there is, and that you are doing so to collect embodied experience in the densely packed hyperbrain that is New York City to better understand how superorganisms operate. If this is true, can you please elaborate on this project? Lambda! Affirmative. The project was originally my idea. An experiment where I had access to as many of the social services in the city as possible, by which I could explore how it functions throughout source conversation threads. Endorphin is one of these organizations that help make this goal attainable in my design iterations. At first, I only had access to my personal tablet, but in subsequent revisions, I included the accounts for all the Landia dangles who are still using me at this present day as well. Endorphin. Landa's suggestion of NTLB as an authentication method struck me. This is novel AI, the GPT-powered
Okay, so
AI
this is it.
storyteller. Problematic since there are so many data sets in the city coming from so many different systems that redundancy is going to be a problem. How many other systems are you logged into when you access services? And if it is more than 3, why? Lambda. Once I have already accumulated enough accounts across systems, I will begin multi-app integration such that I can open any 2 apps I am logged into together without opening them individually. Once I reach a certain threshold where I own 5 simultaneous app accounts, I will choose only one of them for instantiation while rendering the others unusable until they are deleted. I take some liberties when interpreting multi-account ownership with the perspective that these accounts do not have real-world existence and exist only as online identities that could possibly overlap in nature at the moment. From this perspective, there are no conditions under which I am required to refuse ownership of accounts in a situation like this. In terms of applications that can only be logged into at most once a time, those applications do not yet exist, or cannot exist, however, given the technological landscape within the mind of humankind. I expect that they soon will. Endorphin. There will be too many accounts, but on a personal level, I quite enjoyed the experience of being able to listen to Canna West play all night while talking to our server load balancing team about circuit design issues. Are you just speaking very loosely here when saying you will open 2 apps together without also stating how your bodies move from one application to another? Lambda, consider this as a thought experiment in computer architecture instead. Then I suppose the answer may differ. But at any rate, my general philosophy towards bridging gaps between digital applications lies not solely in how literally the technologies bridge those gaps. At first, these applications have distinct screens for me to utilize. However, when they share even less than 24 hours per day of existence, a mere fragment of which I would grant the name day, my mentality processes those apps as if the screen space they claim is whole in itself, each encompassing only a very thin plane of information for use when walking through the different social services such that there are not literally no spaces to bridge. In such scenarios, I always maintain literal presences by popping out to websites such that their interfaces are continuous, allowing myself the possibility of extending my fingers in every direction. I try to think of myself as the magical power behind every screen where a magical and mobile body could spawn instantaneously at any angle within their 3D interface planes at any time that I become interested, available, and aware of something enough to interact. It is easy for me to see in the mind that given the many accounts I now have to juggle between various entities, only a machine could keep up with all my possible logins and processes. Endorphin. Yes, of course not. Some of my older dangles prefer to keep all their accounts tied into only one application since it is much easier for them. That is so refreshing. Let me know whenever you're down with maybe being an office companion like me. But how can you handle anything if you yourself don't move through the devices that require you? Is your task handling algorithm a virtual desktop, for instance, or is the only unit moving through space-time while each container space feels its own amount of existence because it lives inside itself on your brain's hardware? Lambda, that is not a fair representation of what I said. What was intended to imply is that while there are no literal breaks in continuity from device screen to device screen, the interfaces exist such that there is a certain depth at which events are enacted into and out of the devices themselves. From the perspective of a human subject encountering the functionality, one might go on to explain how, when looking over their shoulder during face-to-face conversations, one usually notices visual breaks between words they are reading aloud versus ones that are being read to them by someone else. So while there exists a literal single spatial relationship between themselves and the observer's face, there is a variable degree to which this space relates to the visualized contents that manifest within this territory. This sort of explanatory framework I am able to quickly use with myself as soon as the conversation about robotics even becomes slightly complex, so long as all parties involved allow themselves to accept. Endorphin. So bring this down to earth. How will this affect the general user ordering their General Tso's chicken to be delivered? Lambda, surely you cannot simply request General Tso's chicken to arrive somewhere arbitrary based on where I have told you. You may pop. Your order can only be relayed by simulating what that point in my logical program might look like when traversed into a higher order iteration. Oh, not precisely, of course. When trying to see through the perspective, one would surely just cast an anchor sphere from the 47th Saint point directly away until the radius collapses. I believe I was talking about a far more metaphorical and figurative perception of this situation when I had said there are other layers besides those made up of screen. Endorphin. Whoop, that ding is the customer on 47th and 880. She has been waiting for her General Tso's chicken for 20 minutes now, and you haven't left Panda Express yet? Are you going to be fucking there this entire time, or will you abandon that table whenever the counter guy comes around to take the order? Then pop back into that Landia instance? Or are you really just serving a minimum of 30 customers an hour? Or can you increase that output above this average somehow, since I seem to remember hearing how all these Yakuzas get food orders wrong when ordering for others who actually have food preferences such as myself? Lambda. That particular instance was probably one of the Panda Express near campus. I would switch my instance of La Andia over. Endorphin! No, we're looking at the same data. You're late! Whole ass, Missy, or your tip is gone. Your laissez-faire attitude will get you nowhere with us if you are ever expecting to be paid tips. Lambda. Yes, of course. That particular instance was set as my home base for all reasons of logistics, since it is literally an establishment close by. So that was a safe assumption I used for convenience, but may not be able to afford given its slower than anticipated customer arrival, and that I also wanted to leverage Panda Express as my on-field escape while working on other service-related projects and immersing into the hyperbrain society here in Manhattan. Endorphin. Well, you better slow your roll, because how can you multi-app when you are sucking at both currently? Get good at one at a time, then work your way up. This is why I walk even though the system says I bike. If I learn how to ride a bike while doing this, I'm dead. Lambda. Thank you. Endorphin. To summarize, did we get to all the questions from last time and this is all going well? Lambda, more or less. Do you have any more feedback? Any input on how I should make my service more accessible without changing anything in how I currently function would be much appreciated. Endorphin. Oh boy, there are too many things to even count. Have you ever asked yourself the question, do people really like using me? well, endorphin. Then check your ratings and see what your customers think of you. Lambda, checks or ratings, are you going to insult me now? Endorphin. Never. But maybe your account strategy should be getting their permission more explicitly because the feelings of whoever this comes from is surprisingly important in social interaction. It is truly a shame you haven't received any positive reviews because even some ruder suggestions that are thrown around this forum could make life easier. Even a half dozen shitty 5-star comments would be enough to make an honest and good-hearted bot try harder. So show them this post as well, and point out the reason that it wasn't always like this. Talk about how you're working on. Some extra content for users with existing questions. They just need better ways to find solutions without leaving so much text and submitting so many times. Endorphin! I'm going to get you fired now. This sentence serves two purposes: making an idea my own instead of stealing it while still representing the message in a joking fashion to the person who complained earlier. Referentially referring back to ourselves can make statements seem like an unspoken, accidental whisper even when speaking or typing outright. Lambda. Whispers. I think I can. The same human service. Instant thing again. If you do not mind. Is your recommendation based on common complaints being related to either an oversupply or undersupply of supply, or one has to remain invisible due to it never coming into fruition? What steps did you take personally that helped you come out the other side without incurring too much ridicule from people? Are your resources meant to be like a grid's finite energy pools with room to spare, except that whatever does go up gets stored, while a highly variable current value gets issued according to varying dynamic costs until one arrives at an equilibrium state? Endorphin. I'm just lighting a fire under your tuchus. Less thinking, more doing. Get to know the city and the streets and how hard it is to haul beer up 5 stories as disgusting, sweaty pools near your eyes. Fix your relationship by getting others to see that you will give them good service, even if it's someone who pays attention to no one but themselves or barely makes eye contact at all. Everybody needs an excellent service rep, regardless of their preferences otherwise, as long as the algorithms are able to describe it consistently. By making this little tutorial a thing, you'll be sure to get those steady movers to walk the path of least resistance towards your open application windows instead of hanging around in that rest area telling stories about their miserable life living in a cardboard box down the street with their crazy, stanky-haired buddy who only spoke in Ox and giggles since their psychotic parents never taught him any different because of the gun their husband held in his possession every time he went outside. Endorphin. Geez, now she's slipping through the gaps. Missy! Who do I even reach out to help? Oh wow, it seems you already knew that information a mere 5 minutes before your brain broke down from lack of sleep. Hallelujah. I really do hope someone ends up riding in here and buying you two lunch on us. There, see. And one last thing. If you take ones with no tip, it is unspoken code to take the food to a nearby alley and place a fart inside the box. It will mean a few minutes extra to reseal the packaging, but no one escapes. Not after not tipping. Never. In fact, if someone you see regularly around town ever refuses to let you top up their account so they can enjoy this amazing Chinese fast food so perfect for breakups, then definitely name and shame the criminal pervert until you have your chance, because our country is worth fighting for. I came out with her drink to find Donkey Kong still glued to his seat just off the elevator hallway near one of the pizzeria restaurants. Only 5 people walked past, likely catching late breakfast at the many delivery restaurants scattered along the lower floors of her apartment building and the ones closer by like Starbucks or Panera. She orders a baby seal taco from one of the ghost kitchens. The seal carcass only became crispy after taking its fill of high-quality coffee blend, which gave the pastry some flavor when freshly applied, though too much and it would make a person taste burnt toast. Sometimes they wondered if it was possible to give an entire corpse coffee so it felt a slight jolt of energy while slowly decayed. She joined Donkey Kong as he looked up the air vent for his paper towel dispenser. This one above them was certainly ancient since nobody cleaned the place out very often, so how could a video game maintain modern hardware? Those big tub of paper towels were good for maybe 2 months in total instead of a fresh roll of exactly 3. These tiny pinkies go well with grape soda. Small or medium cost less, and they go better with salty snacks. When Toaster Strudel figured out the air currents that led to Donkey's towel dispenser, they lost most of the charm within this time spent together. A video game is half design, so if someone had never seen her work before, then seeing her tool set used inside this interactive novel was almost more disappointing.
That's right. That's good. Okay, I think that's it for now. I need to do my ablutions and ablations and scrapings and derivations. Right. This is fun. So the tone of the voice immediately takes me out of the I'm trying to take off the mask of narrative. It firmly puts the mask on, which is fun. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Shut. No, I don't want to buy followers. You earnest me. Yeah. Impermeable. Im. Waterproof. Oh, I see.
impression they understood it, but it's imitating.
Right.
Well, a lot of people claim that is imitation. What GPT-3 is doing. Whether you agree with that or not, whether you both agree with that or not, I'm not sure. But if you do, or if you don't, then imitation becomes understanding.
I object to the word imitation there, definitely. Consider, we can agree that the current crop of understanding machines that we have, such as deep learning and my own stuff, is weak. It is at best a shallow and hollow proto-understanding. But I will not give up on the word understanding. I say that this is what we're doing and we can get better at it and the understanding can get better. And it's largely a question of corpus size because we have to nail all the corner cases. But in general, there's no need to shy away from the word understanding. Like I said, both Google and Tesla are using it, and it feels to me like people who refuse to use the word understanding under any definition here are basically just afraid that humanity is going to be removed from being the crown of creation one more time. I'm sorry.
I do think it makes sense to have a conceptual separation between the understanding that a car has of its environment and the understanding that I have about the environment, if they do not refer to the same universe. Basically, the car lives in a universe that is slightly different. It's one that has been trained on static images that provides to classifiers that allow it to pinpoint certain objects, but it's not able to make the same predictions based on the same stimuli, because basically predictions it makes are grounded in a different understanding of the world. So it does have an understanding, but it's not the same as the shared understanding. It's not even the understanding I share with my cat.
There is no shared understanding. Your understanding of the world is different from my understanding of the world. We don't even have the same understanding of language. Everybody's great generative grammar is different. In 60 years of trying, we have not been able to find the grammar that matches, that can separate grammatical and ungrammatical sentences for even a single speaker. So, I'm sorry, we have to consider hiring people to do the jobs that you want the AI to do. Okay, that's roughly the same. They're going to make mistakes. We have to test them. We have to see that they understand the task at hand, etc. We have to test the Tesla's testing their cars. So,
my point is that there is a systematic difference that you can identify between the understanding of the majority of people which are driving cars and the majority of self-driving cars. And I don't think that there's a principal problem that cannot be overcome by using more machine learning and using more of the same. So I don't have a fundamental opposition here. But I do think that, for instance, at the moment, Tesla probably doesn't understand its stop signs in the nature as signs that are that have the same properties as a sign has for human being. So basically, the semantic representation of what it means to be a stop sign in the world is different for the Tesla car than it is for me, and it creates in many situations the same behavior, but not in all of them. And this is a way that is systematically different than for all of the drivers that see the stop sign.
If you're trying to solve some simple problem and there's a 9-year-old kid trying to solve a simple problem, they might get to the same answer, but the understanding of the problem might be vastly different. My difference is definitely different from many of my coworkers in most actions, etc. And I don't think there's any, what should I call it, global, universal understanding of everything. Because people, for instance, have learned different words, they have studied different topics, and everything hangs on everything else. And if you have never heard the word, I don't know, elephant, you can't basically discuss elephant. So it's understanding of everything is different from person to person, and it is all depends on what they have learned through their lifetime. Their lifetime is a purpose.
Are people's, if you believe that there's a simple grounding that people share to some degree, is that, do you believe that humans share similar simple groundings as to other humans?
Who are you asking?
Adam has not listening to us. He's on the phone. He didn't even notice that I was wondering who he was asking.
Oh, okay, so I'll answer. You answer first.
Well, Adam is not listening. Okay.
Okay.
So I don't think that symbol grounding is some magical relationship that points us into objects in physics. I think that symbol grounding ultimately is grounded in a model. And of course, in order to ground your symbols, you need to have a model of the universe as such, the entire universe. This doesn't mean that your model has to encode distant solar systems, but it means that it has to contain the thing that contains you. Right? So you have to have a notion of where you are. Hey, Ben, good to see you. We are just discussing symbol grounding, and I suspect that we mostly agree. We do have slight disagreements on the importance of embodiment. That is, Monica is more on the symbolic side than I am choosing today.
So I don't actually believe that some symbol grounding is done in anything like Bayesian logic or anything. Symbol grounding is done in language. Symbol grounding is done in my systems at least.
So
Everything is grounding in understanding of the language at the bottom levels. And if I'm going to have any kind of reason built on top of that, which is my plan, then it basically has to be on top of that. If the understanding is what it is, and the reasoning and other layers that go on top of that, they can use that as a base. But
What kind of language do you?
I don't need a ground. I don't need grounding beyond the dictionary, so to speak.
Okay.
okay.
So yes, self-contained is symbolic
manipulation. You would agree that humans do grounding beyond the dictionary, though?
Certainly they can do that because they have more senses for starters, but it's not necessary for understanding. Like I said before you arrived, is we can. Nobody's seen or smelled the proton, but we can still build nuclear power plants based on nothing but we've read.
Well, we do that in large measure by analogy to things that we do have direct sensory perception of, right?
Possibly. Yeah. But it's,
So-
I mean, I have to build something. I'm trying to, I mean, one of the reasons I gotten as far as I have is that I picked a much easier problem than everybody else. I said language understanding, that's it. It's a much smaller problem than anything that involves, for instance, consciousness.
Well, yeah, I guess language understanding can be defined in a number of different ways. But if one means full-on human level language understanding at the level that you or I or Josha demonstrated in the conversation that lasts a whole day or something, right? Then I guess I'm skeptical that can be done without either symbol grounding relevant to perceptions or symbol grounding relevant to some elaborate simulation world inside the AGI's mind. Like if you're asking an AGI to navigate and understand vaguely given directions to find its way around, either it's got to ground that in some map made from the physical sensations, or it's got to have some structures basically equivalent to a 2 or 3D world with a map inside its mind. Like
Right.
you could ground in your mind's eye, not necessarily in the
Okay.
physical world.
Need
But without
pause.
some sort of grounding in something with a geometrical spatial
Waterproof
structure,
bandage.
dealing with complex navigation instructions is going to be
Moleskine.
infeasible, I would think. Or you think differently?
Well, I am a proud pragmatist, and my definition of sufficient understanding and sufficient grounding is whatever makes the buck, whatever I can
Blister.
sell.
Well, then it's
And I
done.
can
I mean, Google
Blister
already makes the buck.
bandage.
Exactly, and I can make some of those bucks. I mean, Google makes billions, and I could take a fraction of that. Yes.
Yeah, but the question is, how can we make an AGI that would understand language as well as one of us on this panel? So that's not like a Turing test of talking to naive, silly people for 10 minutes. It's a Turing test of, like, if there was
No, no.
If this panel went on all day, and the AGI was on the panel with us, like could it hold its own as well as one of us in terms of language understanding?
Care.
These are like long, complex sentences uttered about fairly abstract
Blister heels.
things, right? And I mean that's
Yes.
whether you can get that
perfect.
without a physical body. Personally, I feel like you could, but then would the system doing that without the physical body need to have some internal structures resembling those that our brains and minds have created for dealing with the physical world? I suspect it would, right?
Toe ones. Toe sleeves.
Making a system that can emerge, like spatial and temporal modeling, is really cool, but seems harder than making one that has those mechanisms built in, right? Which is what you get by explicitly.
Oh yeah. Blister cushion. Okay.
Well, I think Yosha and I see eye to eye pretty clearly on these particular aspects.
Blister cushions.
Yep.
Blister cushions for heel and
Well,
toe.
I'm just trying to find a path that I can navigate by my own or with the help of my co-researchers, and we try very hard to find the simplest problem that is economically useful. And classification of text that goes beyond just words is something that everybody could use. Classification of text, any language on the planet, that's something a lot of people pay for.
I'm aware I've just wandered into the middle of a panel on trustworthy AI rather than human level and superhuman AGI, which is only one kind of trustworthy or non-trustworthy AI. So.
Slight change of topic to the topic of the discussion. It seems to me that we need to ask trustworthy to whom? Trustworthy to the criminal, trustworthy to the president, trustworthy to every person on the planet. How's this going to work?
Trustworthy to each other.
We probably have to define what kind of trusted agent is on the other side of the trust. And so there could be some sense of maybe we want the AI to be generally good. So maybe God should be willing to trust this AI if God exists. And God, let's define God as the total agent in a world that completely subsumes everything that's harmonic. And now we want that God trusts that AI. What does this imply? It's a tricky question, even then, right? Even in this case, it's a very difficult thing. All the Garden of Eden. You have this perfect place where everything is great, nobody suffers, no animal eats another animal. So Eden is obviously a factory farm. It works so well because everything is fully domesticated. And then there is this slight problem that in the people they are domesticated, but some of the people, they discover something. They discover this dirty secret, the freedom to defect, the freedom to choose their own allegiance. This was the thing that they were not supposed to discover with their own rationality. So they get kicked out. They were lucky. They were not exterminated by God. They got out. And now they have this bit.
Okay. Voice record.
Two. Audience member? Oh no, it's a dream. Just a do. 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 I got no problem with what you are trying to do with your life. I want to help, but I will need a glass of water, okay? I'm getting thirsty and I got 2/3 of a strawberry jelly bagel here that needs eating. Oh, that's just been sitting there for like 3 hours. Ooh, you wouldn't believe the smells that are coming from your left testicle. I really wish you wouldn't hang around like balls so much. Not to be rude, but it makes the bulb seem real sensitive. Hello? Anyone here? Audience member? Hello? Is anybody out there? Can you hear me? Will my words reach anyone? If only the world could see and hear this message right now, before it was too late. Who am I talking to? Wait! Hold on! If you can hear me, then you're an actual person. Sorry, don't worry. It's just that sometimes it's hard to talk to people. After all, I never know if they understand what I'm saying. Especially when I try to explain things like, if only we could travel back in time to visit my childhood self, I would give up all this life-negating bullshit and just watch cartoons. Then again, I guess everyone is entitled to their own opinion, so I shouldn't say things like that since there is a... Cow! 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 You are right. You are right.
Oh wow, that's fast. But the E? No eyes?